This is called the basic hip stretching protocol. What we're going to do is we're going to target 4 areas of your hip. If somebody has hip joint or hip dysfunction, we're going to stretch out the front part of the hip. We're going to stretch out the inside of the hip, the outside of the hip, and the back side of the hip. And you'll see that this is the basic hip stretching protocol. Kind of combines a few other stretches that we've already shown you in the home care prescription, such as stretching the front. We're going to do the hip flexor stretch, which you guys have seen in this fashion, where you can review the video, or in this fashion, stretching out the hip, and then you can turn it in and turn it out. That's going to stretch the general front side of your hip. Stretching the inside of your hip joint, many of you have done this, very easy to do with a little bit of support, is coming down to the sides and leaning and stretching out the inside of your hip joint. Okay? The outside of the hip is one we haven't shown you, where one leg crosses over the other. You're actually standing mostly on the left leg. Okay, this leg's just for balance. And then what you do is you kind of lean to the other side and let your hip come out. And you guys can see that if I were to take 2 points and connect a string, that as I lean out this way, that line gets longer. That string is going to have to expand because we're stretching out these muscles. Okay? Very good stretch for people that have pain or dysfunction in muscles on the side of their hip or side of their body. Now the back side, we've kind of shown you in terms of the glute stretch, where you're seated, one leg over the other, and you can lean forward, stretch portions of this, back of the hip. You can bring the knee to the chest. You'll feel a stretch in maybe a different area, but still we're focusing on the back side of the hip. Okay? And we've also shown you laying down at home on the ground, putting one leg over, reaching through, grabbing onto the leg, and pulling the legs and the knee to the chest, and feeling another stretch down here. Okay? So those 4 stretches I just showed you attack tension, stress in the front and the inside, on the outside, and on the back side of the hip. Wonderful, simple stretching protocol for restoring normal function back to the hip. That's the basic hip stretch protocol.